What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Recoil RDA. I'm back at it once again, back in the studio, as you guys can see here. I do want to apologize for being kind of MIA for the past couple of weeks, but I have been traveling. I went straight from National Vape Expo to Vape Showcase Dallas, which is kind of why I haven't been posting any videos. I was not prepared for that. I planned my trip to Dallas at the last second, so that's why I didn't get any vlogs or reviews or Fresh Build Fridays up. Sorry, guys, I really do want to apologize for that, but we're back. I'm bringing you the Homeboy OC Grim Green collaboration, which is known as the Recoil RDA. So let's go ahead and get started with this video. So first of all, I want to start off by stating my intent that I did receive this product for free for the purpose of doing this video. However, it has no monetary value to me, which means my opinions on it will remain honest and unbiased. With that being said, I would like to give a huge shout out to the man himself, Grim Green, for gifting me this RDA. He gave it to me at VCCPA in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania when we were there. He asked me if I received one yet, and I said no, they were all sold out. So he dropped me one of these things. I got it built up there, and I've been rocking it on the rouleau ever since. So thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate everything that you've done for me. And let's go ahead and dive down into the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, as you can see here, we have our Recoil RDA in its original box. So you can see on the bottom here, we have Grim Green and Homeboy OC's logos. And the same thing on the top. We have the Recoil on the front and the Recoil logo on the back. And it's, ooh, you can spin it around and it looks cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and get the box top off here, see what's underneath. We have our Recoil RDA with the Clouds Bro Clouds cap, and we have the Flavor Bro Flavor cap. Yes, I said that correctly. Flavor Bro Flavor cap has 2.5 millimeter holes on either side. We have dual 2.5 millimeter holes on this side, and we have dual 2.5 millimeter holes on the other side. Otherwise, it's pretty much identical to the original cap. Just giving a quick look around this thing here, you have the 3 millimeter air holes on this side, and again 3 millimeter air holes on that side. Let's go ahead and see what's underneath this little piece here. Now there we go, just this little baggie of O-rings and extra grub screws. As you can see inside there, I really like the fact that they give you extra stuff, because some of these RDAs, especially budget RDAs, don't come with any extras. So let's go ahead and get a real up close look at this thing. Alright guys, so let's go over some of the specs on this thing while we take a real good up close look at it. Let's start off with the 24 millimeter diameter here. It does have an overall diameter of 24 millimeters with a build deck of 22 millimeters, which I'll show you in just a second. You can see your engravings on here. They're laser engravings, Grimmy OC, and their serial number. You have a gold-plated brass 510 connection with peak insulators used throughout this device, which are of the highest quality, of course. You have the Recoil RDA logo on the outside there, real nice. I do have a few scratches on mine, and you can see it's very picking up all my fingerprints, really nice there. But it is a shiny stainless, which is 304 stainless, which is of the very high quality as well. You can see here, this is the Clouds Bro Clouds cap, which has two 3 millimeter air holes on the outside there, as well as a mirrored set on the other side. And you have the top cap section with a 15.1 millimeter in diameter drip tip, which has a Delrin sleeve. The Delrin sleeve can come off, although it is stuck on there real nice with two O-rings, as you can see here. And you can get additional tips for it. This one is a Double Helix Designs tip. Jess gave this to me at Vape Showcase. This is a color changing tip, so she makes some really unique, cool looking tips for the Recoil RDA. She also has full replacement top caps as well that are available on her website. I'll make sure to drop a link in the description if you guys want to check those out for yourself. So just taking off the top cap here, let's just replace the drip tip once again. We'll take off the top cap. You can see a nice smooth chamfer on the inside with a single O-ring that is going to keep your top cap on there real nice and snug. I've never really had any sort of issues with it coming out or anything like that. And let's take a look at the build deck. This is the 22 millimeter build deck. Overall, it's 22 millimeters in diameter. And the negative posts are taller than the positive block. As you can see here, it's a 4-post design with outer posts that are taller than the 2 center posts here, which is kind of a unique way to do it. It's going to allow you to get creative with your builds and that kind of thing. Taking a look at the top of the screw heads here, they are flat head screws, and they come with replacements in the box. So other than that, let's just take a look around here. here. Oh, the post holes are 2.5 millimeters in diameter. Not sure exactly how deep the build deck is, but I believe the juice well is about 6 millimeters in diameter. That's going to hold a lot of wicking material and a lot of juice. So there you go. You have 2 O-rings on the bottom of the build deck section there, which hold that top cap on really nice. No wiggle, no wobble, no complaints in that department whatsoever. And there you go. You have your 2 interchangeable top caps. Let's just take a look at those in the up close section here. At first glance, they're going to look pretty much identical. However, once you spin them around here, you can kind of see a slight difference. I kind of wish they would have engraved them differently or something like that so you can kind of see the difference in there. But honestly, they kind of look like ghost eyes to me. They almost look like the Snapchat logo, but maybe that's just me. But yeah, that's the difference there. We have 2.5 millimeters on the Flavor Bro flavor cap and 3 millimeters on the Clouds Bro Clouds cap. Very subtle difference, but you know what? If you're building a lot of those fancy coils, you're going to be able to tell the difference. All right, guys, let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. All right, vapors, let's go ahead and go over some of my personal thoughts on this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not I believe it's worth purchasing. Let's start it off today with the pros, and my first pro is going to be the unique airflow. I really love those angled holes on either side of the cap, as you saw in the close-ups. It just kind of takes the airflow and shoots it underneath my coils and straight through the wide bore cap, and that's really what makes all the difference for me personally. It's not turbulent whatsoever. There's one for you, Grim. There you go. And also, it does not whistle. Plus, it prevents leaking, which I find to be a really big pro in my book as well. I usually just take my dripper bottles, stick it right down the drip tip, give it a couple quick squeezes, and it's good to go. No leakage. It just kind of falls off the positive post and onto my coils. And you can really just fill up that whole deck with juice, and it's not going to leak unless you tilt it beyond about 90 degrees or so, which why would you do that anyways? But hey, you know what? Let's move on to our next topic here, which is it's super easy to build. Now, most of you probably watched my Recoil RDA build video a few weeks ago. That was a big hit, and a few of you had told me that I was building it wrong, but honestly, I am a true believer that you can't really build an RDA wrong as long as you're building it safe. I tend to wrap my coils overhand. Some people wrap theirs underhand. This one might cater a little bit more to the underhand wrapped coils, or if you like your coils in a different configuration than I do, yeah, it's going to be a little bit better, but you know what? And whichever way you build, no matter how you build this thing, it's going to be awesome. So there you go. My next pro is going to be that it's the stainless steel top cap. I really love stainless steel because it doesn't give you a funky flavor. I have tons of different addies, and I have brass and copper addies out there, which I really never like the flavor on. This one gives me a nice, clean, and true flavor. I've been vaping on the Melange, which I absolutely love. It's a really good fruit medley blend, and I get a nice, crisp flavor out of it without getting any sort of funky aftertaste. You can't taste metal after you vape it or anything like that, which I tend to get with some more of the brass and copper sleeves there. So that's just definitely a pro in my book. Now moving on, we have 2 options for airflow. I really like that they included 2 caps, because then you have your Clouds Bro Clouds cap and your Flavor Bro flavor cap. That way you can kind of choose which one you want to use depending on what build you're doing. If you want just straight up clouds, then you can use the cloud cap. But if you want to build something a little bit more intricate, like you know, Twisted Wire, Aliens, you know, Fuse Clapton, something like that, then I would say try out the flavor cap. It might make a little bit of a difference for you. I notice a little bit of a difference in flavor, plus it kind of just amplifies the heat a little bit more. So if you like a hotter build, then definitely try out the flavor cap as well. And my final pro is, of course, the price. This thing is only 60 bucks, and it's that nice mid-level that you have your really cheap atomizers on one side, the clones and things like that. Then you have your pricey atomizers over 100 bucks. This kind of falls into that middle category, which has been kind of forming over the past few years. Before, it was the prices were all over the place, you know, from the really cheap to the really, really expensive, but now you kind of find these middle ground. You know, I really love the $60 price range. Anything right around there, like the Twisted Messes and this Addy and a few of the other ones out there that are just kind of more affordable for vapors nowadays, and I absolutely can appreciate that. Now, let's go ahead and move on to some cons. All right, guys, so my first con today is the thick walls means it holds in the heat. The walls on this are super thick, and it definitely holds in a lot of that heat. If you like to vape over 100 watts, then this thing is absolutely going to be a scorcher for you. Unfortunately, I tend to lower my wattage a little bit, about 20 to 30 watts, depending on what build I have going on in there. This is my standard build, which is 26 and 36 fused Claptons, and I tend to vape this normally at about 110 to 120 watts, whereas right now I'm vaping at about 90. So I like to reduce the amount of wattage that I use with this, specifically this RDA, because I find the heat to be a little bit too overbearing whenever I try to vape it at my normal wattage, and I can attribute that to the airflow. Maybe if it had one extra air hole on the Clouds Broke Clouds cap, I feel like that would make all the world of a difference, but unfortunately there's only a 0.5 millimeter difference between the Clouds and the flavor caps. So maybe for the next version they can add an extra hole in there, or bottom airflow or top airflow or something like that, maybe to just kind of enhance the experience overall for the cloud user, I suppose. My next con is that, well, you know what, I'll just demonstrate it, I suppose. Yeah, so as you just saw, when you try to purge through this device here, it just, shoots up hot vapor right into your face. And if you have it angled the wrong way, then it can definitely get up into your eyes. I've done it before. It's not pleasant, and I think that's a major con for me. It's not really a deal breaker, so to speak. All I do is just do either a very, very quick purge, or I don't purge whatsoever. So if you're a purger, if you're a long purger, if you're a cloud comper, something like that, this one's not going to be for you. But honestly, I just tend to hit that button a split second early, and then I inhale on it, and it's just fine for me personally. So there you go. My next con is the shiny stainless means scratches. I was a little bit bummed to find out that he only did the polished stainless and black, because black means it's going to wear off eventually, it's going to scratch up eventually, and the shiny stainless is scratches, fingerprints, and that kind of thing. It's kind of a minor con for me personally. I really don't care what my addies look like as long as they work, but for some of you out there that are obsessed with, cleanliness and everything like that, I think this is going to be a pretty big issue for you guys out there. But honestly, really not a big deal to me. I just figured I'd mention it, considering mine's already starting to get pretty scratched up. And my final con is that the reduced chamber causes warmer builds to become scorching hot. Now this kind of plays on my first con here, the thick walls. It also has to do with the reduced chamber. Now, this is a 24 millimeter atomizer, but it does have a 22 millimeter build deck. So there's 2 millimeters in between the outer diameter and the inner diameter of this that you're kind of losing, basically, as far as build space goes. And for something like, let's say the Goon or something like that, which has a little bit more room in the deck, this is not going to be the same thing. This is more for your standard builds. I put 7 wraps of fused Clapton in there, and it's plenty enough room for it. But I find that with the 7 wrap fused Clapton, I have just enough room for my wicking material, whereas on the Goon, I have enough room for like 12 wraps of fused Clapton wire, which is of course the standard 26 and 36 gauge. That's what I'm referring to. But yeah, that reduced chamber definitely means less build space. It means hotter builds. It means warmer vapor. So just plan on using this device about 20 to 30 watts off what you normally do. Alright guys, my final topic for today is whether or not I believe this is worth purchasing, and I did receive this for free for the purpose of this review. However, if I had a couple of bucks in my pocket and I was in the market for a new atomizer, would I go ahead and seek out the Recoil? Yes, I would, because I absolutely love the mid-priced, mid-ranged kind of atomizers. Something that's not, super high-end. It might still be made in China, but honestly, I really don't care. I just want something that works and something that looks nice, and overall, basically, just satisfying all of my needs for an atomizer, which this definitely does. I like the fact that it doesn't leak. I like the airflow on it, nice and smooth. There are a few little issues with it, but honestly, I could definitely see myself overlooking that. Anything from the $50 to $85 price range is good in my book. I would definitely pick up pretty much anything in that price range without, a second thought, absolutely. So anyways, guys, that about does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Of course, leave me comments in the box below of what you think of the Recoil RDA. Are you excited about, the Homeboy OC Grim Green collaboration? Any thoughts that you want to tell me down there, I would love to discuss it in the comments with you guys. Of course, check the advocacy links in the description below. Now is the time to fight. You got to stand up for your rights and fight for your right to vape. Also, check me out on my social media. Make sure you check out my Twitter and Instagram. Follow me on there. Like my page on Facebook. Check out my Snapchat. And if you want to give me a couple of bucks on my Patreon, that would be awesome as well. You guys are great. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, vape on.